Welcome to Opposites Distract. Jared here. There's the good looking version of me. I'm the after picture of destruction and just sadness.
Not true, Jared.
No, it is.
You're your own person.
Well,
You are your
yeah.
own person and beautiful in many ways.
Well, you know,
You're very beautiful from the waist down. You have great calves. Your calves are this guy's calves. I can never
pretty
work out
good.
hard enough to get his
And
calves.
they were good before I put on weight. Anyway, we are going to get into Superman being a certified box office hit, as well as F1. Bo and I both saw Superman. Bo saw F1, and then made a little bit of Squid Game. How it's setting all sorts of records as far as streaming is concerned. All right, let's start with the biggest movie right now, and that is Superman. Superman.
Yeah.
I would say for me, if you just do like a quick headline for it, it's what a popcorn movie should be. Like it's fun, it's entertaining, you're not bored. But we might get into some more of our opinions. My only problem with it is it's for maybe 2/3 of the movie. In my opinion, he's a mediocre man. Like he's losing fights to people who probably aren't even
That's
credited in the credits.
yeah. That's the big complaint about the movie. A lot of people are saying that they nerfed Superman down to the ground. The opening scene, he gets his ass kicked, and I get it. They're showing he's fallible. But that was my biggest complaint too. It felt like they were trying to nerf him so that he wasn't so elite.
what word are you using? They're trying to what? I want
They're trying to nerf him.
to nerf him.
Nerf. To nerf means to like to dial back the power. To nerf something means like to take away the power of it. And to buff something means to jack up the power. Sorry, it's Xbox talk. Okay, we talk about Call of Duty. This gun got
Yeah,
nerfed. This one got buffed. We're switching. That's where it's
I
from.
got
Sorry,
you.
you got to be cool with the youth like me.
Work in the warehouse. I'm cool.
When you said nerf, I was like, it's like something like a nerf football, like they're trying to soften it. That also works, kind of.
Yeah, there you go.
All right,
Soften it.
yeah,
That's it.
and
That's where it comes from, I think.
with you being in the industry as an actor and behind a producer and all these different things you've done and are doing, do you think that the studio had such confidence in James Gunn, the director who has done a lot of things, including Guardians of the Galaxy movie and movies, at least one of them, and that they were like, we don't need a name for Superman. Well, we can bring a guy who's good. He was great. I still don't even know his name, but he was great as Superman.
Corn Sweat is his last name. Corn Sweat.
And I did read, and we'll get
Tyler Corn Sweat, something like that.
Corn Sweat, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, but they weren't like, oh, we have to get like a Zac Efron or a Robert Downey Jr. or maybe Jr. would be too old. I was thinking of a younger guy. This is probably like a terrible example, Zac Efron, but you know what I mean. They're like, we don't need an A-list star. We can just get somebody that's unfamiliar, but we know this director's going to nail it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's such a strong IP. Superman is almost not mess upable. However, I will say Henry Cavill is the Superman to me. He still crushes because he had that aura about him.
Yeah,
Corn Sweat, he's great, he's good, he's more human,
right.
which some people like that. Some people want more human because if you watch the movie compared to like the old comics, it's kind of like that where they got the speedo on him. He's more like old school.
Yeah,
He's not quite so dark and brooding like Henry Cavill. So Zack Snyder's, his Superman's I love even more because he didn't come in nerfed. He
no,
came in, the boss, and he didn't have the speedo on. I like that probably better, but I understand why this movie's doing so well because it is just like the old school comic book movies comic books that kids used to read in the 80s, 90s. And so it was like that kind of encapsulated, even from the 60s, back when my man got paralyzed before he got paralyzed. What's his name?
oh,
What's
Christopher
the,
Reeves.
what's,
Christopher,
Christopher Reeves,
yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
blank on his name.
It wasn't the
Yeah,
60s, it was
I
the
think
80s. Well, late 70s, early 80s.
yeah, yeah. So it's a very strong
It
IP.
is.
So I think when that's the case, studios are more apt sometimes to take someone like a Rachel Zegler, for example, Snow White. Same thing. It's like they didn't go for a massive star because they had such strong IP. That one bombed. This one's doing well. I mean, this one had like a $250 million budget. I think it's almost recouped all of that in the first like week.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it made 220 something the first weekend, and so it's already past that by
wow,
now. Well,
yeah,
and then but something that in conjunction with Snow White, we will never know. But Zegler got really political, and then
yeah.
it turned a lot of people off, and then
Mhm.
it kind of and then you have like kind of co-stars are on different sides of this major political. Gal Gadot has Israeli
Yeah.
heritage, and then so it just got ugly, and then no one's talking about Snow White, and sometimes all publicity is good publicity, but not in this climate. Super political.
No, not when it's so divisive and it's
Yeah.
such a fever pitch, I mean, we can see it time and time again. I mean, people even saying that like Superman, this one with James Gunn was somewhat political because it had
Yes.
something to do with the Middle East and it was Israel Palestine fighting, and that was like the whole undertone of it. So people are saying it was pro-Palestinian, some people saying it was pro-Israeli. Again, people look for confirmation bias. They try to find what they're looking for. So you can do that with any film because it's suggestive. Art's suggestive, so people can interject any opinion they want to be. You offended this, or you did this, or you're saying this. But at the end of the day, it's just entertainment. It's just a movie, and
Right.
everyone's looking to get offended and hurt. And it's like, we've seen time and time again from studios trying to dance that dance, and it almost exclusively fails. That no one wants to be preached to, no one wants messaging. It just entertain me. It's just entertainment. It's supposed to be an escape from this shit going on in like the real world that's terrible. To come and watch a movie and be distracted. Instead, it's like sometimes you get preached to. We've talked about this on podcasts, but it's like eventually they'll get that message when they lose enough money, I guess. I
Right.
don't know.
And the good thing about Superman, and James Gunn has not verified any of those things are true. He did specifically say it was Superman is an immigrant. It's like an immigration, kind of like a pro-immigrant
Yeah.
movie. And then the meme that was funny was, it's like, yes, the white immigrant who speaks perfect English, we're for that. And so they had a little bit of backfire. There's some little bit of negative buzz going in. But then I think the movie's kind of speaking for itself. And if he had a message, it was very subtle. Some we watch is heavy-handed. Like they'll almost looking at the camera like, this is what I'm trying to teach you. And you're like, all right. But this one wasn't.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I mean, you can see like, all right, you can maybe make a case. But if you're worried about that, because some people that is important, they don't want to be preached to, you're not going to feel it when you're watching it. It's just a fun movie.
No. I couldn't agree more. And I think that Nicholas Hoult, who played Lex Luthor, did like the best job.
Yeah.
He was born. He stole the movie from me. He was the best part. Because again, he's so talented. His range is so incredible. He goes from Nosferatu to this. And the funny thing is, Nicholas Hoult was up for the Superman role. He was in the final three with Cornsweet to play Superman. Yeah. And the story Nicholas Holt's talking about, that he was at his audition. He felt good about his audition. He walked out. He met Cornsweet. And when he met him, he was sitting out in the sun, relaxing on a chair. And he had bigger hands, bigger arms, had the face, had the features. And Nicholas was like, oh, yeah, he's probably going to get this.
Yeah, right.
Because he looks the part like dead on.
Right. Sometimes you just know, like.
And that's a big part of it.
Like if they're making a movie about a trucker and the two people that are finalists are me and you, I mean, obviously you're going to get it because you look like a fat trucker.
Sure.
No, but you'd be like, all right, he's probably going to get it. Or they're going to have to put on makeup on me and do some things. And if they're going to do something to
well, kudos to James Gunn for like sticking to the traditional view of Spider-Man. I think that again goes back to when you're changing IP for stories and you try to put a spin on it for casting different characters or different race, genders, whatever. It muddies the waters, like who this character was originally born to be. That doesn't mean we can't create new characters that we just compete with this person, but to change the original that everyone grew up on. That's a problem, and that's why this changing of history, repeats itself. It's like everyone's tried to, change what it looked like, but reality of it is like the IP, like James Bond, the IP, like any of the superheroes, like they need to. They're so immersed in culture, they can't just change that because then you're going to be affecting other people who. Why'd you change it from me? It's so it just like you said, the political climate is so intense. And kudos to him for not doing that because I could have seen it going that direction as well.
Well, it could have been political, and he is a liberal, and he might be more likely, which is totally. I mean, we don't care. Everyone, you and I
think, I think the lines are being blurred and murkied up more now than ever. That not to get political, but that Trump isn't saying that Epstein files aren't real. We're not going to go for Epstein.
Well, everyone's like, what?
That's something is like there's like flipped a dime, and so again, not to get political, but they're saying like that split the belief in that party specifically in two different pieces because some people are like loyalists to Trump, and some people are like, wait a second, 6 months ago this was a huge issue. You ran on this in the campaign,
right?
But then it comes time to reveal, and it's like, oh, never mind, it was all a hoax by the other party. People aren't stupid, and so no one's going to buy that. No one's going to be like, oh, well, I guess, and some people are. Some people are like, well, I guess it's not that big of a deal. I'm like,
No, yeah, something's
what is
fishy.
happening?
It's fishy at best, and that's why you should
Oh,
never ever, be beholden to anybody. Maybe except for God, but like beholden to anybody that's not perfect. Just like be blindly follow no matter what they say in anything, but especially in politics.
correct.
Well, and then it's interesting. I guess we're a little political here, but like
That's okay. We're going down this road. This is
growing,
where nature's taking us. Let's go.
yeah, growing up, like Republicans were more hawkish with the military, and
Yeah.
Democrats were more about peace, and that's kind of flipped. I'm not
Yep.
you see more like Trump is more
Yeah.
like let's avoid boots on the ground at all costs.
Well, that's what he says. That's what he says in campaigning. And then when he gets in office, drop more bombs. We're like the candy dispenser for weaponry in the world to everyone who wants to declare war on somebody. It's like, that's the same thing. It's like if you were getting in a fight with someone and I handed you a hammer to beat that person with, I'm helping you beat that person. We're in this together at that point. And
Right.
so again, I think that's why it's upsetting a lot of people because like what people once thought was the truth, now they realize and think, oh, everyone's the same. Everyone just wants to keep the power. They change hands every 4-8 years, but then it's like they just want to consolidate the power themselves and not give it back to the people. And so whenever they do get in power and have opportunity to divulge information that could be damning to some people, well, now the pressure's too high. Never mind, it doesn't exist. People aren't stupid. Like I said, I think it's gonna have a real issue and real problem coming up
does.
here.
It's actually against his brand to
Yeah,
the Epstein thing because he normally doesn't
yeah.
care
Right? Yeah.
what people think or say.
Well, that tells you something to me. Not to get too conspiratorial, but if someone has that much power over him to say, who's that person?
Right? Who's that?
Who's this company or who's this banking industry, whatever, that says you're not releasing that? Because I don't think it's any denial that of course it exists. They've been talking about it exists, but now it says it doesn't. You have no credibility now,
Right,
dude.
and the
Like, if
previous
you didn't already.
and the previous administration had it in the summer of 2024, same information. And if they had Trump's name in it, they're not going to use that. So both, I think
Right.
both have either it's them or their friends or powerful people are like, it's just not worth it. But don't tell the people you're peeing on my leg and tell me it's raining. Like, let's not do that. All right,
Right.
back to
No.
now. This
People
is
aren't stupid. Well, going back to, I think that this is like playing out in a Superman kind of world.
Yeah.
I think we had Superman. He'd break into the FBI. He'd take the list, and we'd all know about it.
Right.
Because it's the best for humanity.
Or he gets.
We want to know who we're surrounded with that's controlling the world potentially
Yes.
and has these horrible deviant behaviors. And far be it for us to want to know that. I mean, literally, look at the shirt I'm wearing. I should tell you something.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
I mean, just the whole industry is corrupt. This needs to be let's restart it.
I would stand up
from the beginning.
I would stand up and show you, but I'm not wearing pants. It's okay. I know
You never wear pants.
No, I never do. Now, this is a nugget though from Superman that I find interesting. And
nugget me, dude.
You love dogs, right? Did you know? You have dogs.
I'm joking. Of course. Who doesn't love dogs?
I don't really love dogs.
Are you crazy?
Does anyone in our audience love dogs?
I don't like cats. I prefer dogs at other people's houses. I have a dog as a pet for my kids, and they love her. But then I'm just not a big fan of it. It just doesn't do it for me.
My lighting changed. Oh, it got cloudy. That's why it's starting to rain. What's with these summer rains in North Carolina? If you're not in North Carolina, you got to know summertime is going to be 98 degrees until about 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, you're going to get a monsoon, and it's going to go into about 10 o'clock. And then 10 o'clock, the steam starts rising. Right by the time the sun comes up, it's 100% humidity, and again, 90 degrees. So it's fun.
And even if you're in good shape like Bo, then you're going to be like sweating right as soon as you walk outside. Now, let me get back to this thing. So, dog adoptions are up 600% since the Superman movie was released.
Right.
And it's not a spoiler alert, I don't think. I think it might be in the preview. Maybe it's not. But Superman has his own dog called Crypto.
Was it Comet?
Crypto.
Whatever it is.
No, it's Crypto. It's Crypto from. I looked it up. I had to look it up because I couldn't remember. But from Krypton, and it's so cute that people are like, "I want a dog." Up 600% from the opening day, and
movies have influence, man. Movies have influence. There's no denying that.
They do. Did you know when Jaws came out 50 years ago, it's the 50th anniversary, that beach going went down like 35% that summer, all across the Atlantic coast, anywhere where there was beaches, because people were like, I'm scared
Yeah.
of going to the beach. And yeah, so they
I
do
mean,
have an
everyone,
influence
I
on
think, at
what's
some
happening.
point when they're in the ocean after they've seen Jaws, they've had that thought cross their mind, like, what if this happened right now?
What
You know?
if?
No, but I think it is. There is a question I have for you. Maybe you've heard this, maybe you haven't. I love the adoptions up. How did a dog and a cousin, Supergirl, Superwoman, who's also in the movie, leave the exploding planet as well? And they all went to Earth. I don't know. I never saw that in comic books.
Come
I
on.
don't know. Is that how it worked? I don't know. Maybe somebody can leave in the comments. I don't know because I thought that's strange. I thought that he was like the last sole survivor of this planet. His parents sent him out,
Right.
and then now we got like a cousin. We got a dog. So I guess theoretically they could bring everyone for the family who lived. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, because the whole thing was they had the pod just for him.
Yeah.
Um, so
Plot
the
plot
Epstein's.
hole, James Gunn. Tighten it up, baby. Come on. I've trained you
Come
better.
on.
Get it together, man.
Now you saw
Oh.
F1. I did not see it, and you gave it. Well, you
Well, I
say
think it was ranked the best movie
F1.
in the last year. I think it was ranked the best movie in the last year. It's from Jerry Bruckheimer, same guy who did Top Gun. It's from Joseph Kalinsky, who was also the director of Top Gun Maverick, and they both teamed up on F1. Brad Pitt at his finest, the coolest dude in the room, always. Like literally, made me want to change my wardrobe. I looked at my wife during the movie. I was like, I gotta change my wardrobe. I don't dress like that because he just exuded just confidence and masculinity, and it was old school, like meeting the new school F1 drivers. And if you don't care about F1, you will after watching the movie. It is the best movie I've seen probably since Top Gun Maverick. Funny enough, so it's amazing.
If you're not into racing at all, and specifically F1, the movie it's not really that's the kind of like the vehicle, pun intended, but it's
Yeah.
not. The movie's so good, it's really not about that.
No, it's not about that any more than I don't know any movie that doesn't take place in a realistic world you don't care
Like
about.
Remember the Titans is not. It's a football movie, but
Right, it's like saying Top
It's
Gun. If you're
about
not a
really
Navy pilot, you won't get it. It's like, no, it's an amazing movie. I don't have to be a Navy pilot to get
Okay,
it.
yeah.
Like it's that good, and this feels the exact same way. The soundtrack is incredible. Hans Zimmer did like the main theme song for it. The cinematography, they shot things in a way that I've never seen before. Which is always if a director can find a new way that I haven't seen something before and put that out in a movie, dude, I'm hooked. And the way they shot this was like how they would put cameras on the outside of the jets in Maverick. They did this with F1 cars, but they were, facing camera. They were facing the actors, and they were Brad Pitt and our other lead actor were actually driving the F1 cars in the movie itself. Like they were actually driving this
Wow.
and racing this, so you can feel it. It's visceral. It's amazing ending, and just an old school banger of a movie.
Well, let me ask you because I didn't see it. I do want to see it.
Yeah.
You said you saw it IMAX if you can, right? You would recommend that.
Well, because I saw it in IMAX on a Thursday and saw it on a regular on Friday, and it was half like the power as it was in IMAX. And I don't usually say with most movies. Like I didn't see Superman in IMAX. We didn't
Sure.
see it in IMAX, but that some movies, this was one of those ones. Top Gun was another one. You have to see it in IMAX. You have to
it's on
feel it. And you
IMAX.
feel it so much more, and it's so much more impactful. Like I had chills half the movie. It was, and that doesn't usually happen.
All right, I want you to rank
Rank me.
something. Racing movies. I'm gonna give you 3 racing movies. I want you to rank them 3 to 1, and no recency bias.
Okay.
Days of Thunder, F1. This one's going to mess you up. Talladega Nights.
Days of Thunder, Talladega Nights, and number 1's F1. Days of Thunder.
Wow. Okay, so Talladega Nights.
Yeah,
second.
Days of Thunder didn't really do it for me that much. Although something interesting is happening because it's from the same producers and the same studio. Now they're going to make a story where Tom Cruise's Days of Thunder character and Brad Pitt from F1 come together in the next movie of this section. So they're actually bringing them together because, as you know, well, you may not know this, but Brad Pitt's kind of like this mercenary, soul wolf, driver who goes from different driving challenges just to kind of test his strength and his might. Well, he left F1. He retired at the end of F1. Spoiler alert. But then now they're saying they're going to bring Tom Cruise in, and they're going to do a NASCAR spinoff that's going to be like F1 but NASCAR with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. So if they do that, bam.
Boy, that'd be awesome. Would that be the first time they've worked together since Bram Stoker's Dracula?
They were in Bram Stoker's Dracula. They were in Interview with a Vampire.
Oh, wait, not that one.
Interview with a Vampire. Yeah. It's like the infancy of Brad Pitt's career, and Tom Cruise was Tom Cruise at that time. And Brad Pitt today says that was the worst experience he's ever had filming. So that's kind of the stipulation. Like, will Brad Pitt work with Tom Cruise? And it's a little bit of a cat fight, I think.
Well, now, because I mean, obviously, Brad Pitt stars has risen. He's super A list
Yeah,
level, but then also I think Tom Cruise's power, with Top Gun really showed how a lot of power that he had, that he held on to it, and he's like, no, we're not doing streaming for COVID. We're going to wait. We're going to wait. We're going to wait. It has to be in the theaters, and he has a lot of say so. And so, yeah, it'd be cool to see them on
yeah,
screen in their later years as two like iconic
yeah.
actors. All right. A little shot to Brad Pitt this week, a little shot to the ego. He dated Gwyneth Paltrow
Okay.
years ago,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Uh, yeah, and to me, it's like not match. I mean, she's talented and she's pretty, but not match. Brad Pitt's here,
I agree. Completely.
Um, and she has a book that's coming out, or it's out, and she was talking about dating Brad Pitt. She said towards the end, they're still together. She was like, she had a crush on Hugh Grant, the British actor. And she's like, I wish I was with Hugh Grant. But when all she was with Brad Pitt. And then she went on to explain it, and it doesn't really make her sound any better. She's like, we just came from two different worlds. Like, we'd go out to eat, and I would have to explain that's beluga when you're with caviar. I don't even know what she's talking about. Basically, she grew up rich, and he grew up normal. And she like didn't like the fact that he didn't know the different type of caviar and
Let's
all
call
stuff.
it what it is, Gwyneth. Your star has faded drastically, and Brad Pitt's at the top of the game, and no one in their right mind would say they would rather date Wolverine than the Brad Pitt.
No, not even Wolverine.
Hugh Grant. I thought I was thinking
from
Hugh Jackman. Hugh Grant?
no,
Oh, no.
Hugh Jackman. I would even
You may be a good actress, you're not that good a liar. There's no way that's the case. No way. She's embittered. She's like, he turned me down probably. He probably broke up with her, and now she's like, I really didn't want. Come on, like the drama in those spheres is so nauseous making feeling that it's just like
Yeah,
your ego is so inflated, and you have to make it always about you. Like what happened? What happened to the old school stars? By which I mean, they were recluses. They didn't
yeah,
put their business out in the world. That's what made them a star. They no one knew what
right.
they were thinking, what they were doing, the mercurial ways. But now it feels like 90% of them are got some platform and they got to go on talk shows and talk about one time I would have made. It's like you're making it about yourself again because you're not acting, you're not doing anything good, and so you have to have that ego stroke. It's sickening and it's tearing down the value of what used to
Yeah,
be Hollywood stardom.
it does take the shine away
Yeah.
from like, because you see the star, just like anything else, you become
Mhm.
desensitized to that. That's why sometimes when like John Travolta, like his career was almost a
Mhm.
blessing for him and us, really. Huge star in the 70s, 80s, and then he kind of went away for almost 10 years and came back in Pulp Fiction, and he had like a rebirth. But we didn't get tired of seeing him in every freaking movie. But
And some
if I was
say,
an actor,
and I'm kind of a prophet of the same philosophy. Some say that the reason why Tom Cruise is still Tom Cruise is because he doesn't get in that. He doesn't get into
yeah,
the political game. He doesn't get in. Now he's acted crazy a couple times. Some say because of his church, Scientology, but he doesn't post his business. I don't know if he has a real social media account. Like he doesn't go on Twitter and go on
yeah,
tirades and so he is keeping the luster on his star completely flawless and polished. Whereas everyone else, if you tell people too much, it devalues you. So the scarcity increases value, right? So the more scarce something
right.
is, the more valuable it is. But the more in your face and you see it all the time and you get desensitized to it. And then I feel like social media has done a huge disservice to stars because now they're everywhere. You see them everything. We're eating this, we're going here, we're doing that. It's diluting your value in a way. So be mercurial, be a Denzel, be a Tom Cruise, because those are the people who I think they go the distance because they're not looking for that polish all the time from other people.
Yeah, Adam Sandler's in the comedy realm is the kind of that
Mm.
way. Yeah, he's in a lot of things because he has deals, but he does some interviews here and there, and he's not
Mhm.
political
Mhm.
at all. And I don't know what he believes, and it's okay. I mean, if people want to do that, but there's
There's a
usually a
price to
price to
pay.
pay
Yeah,
because
there's a
yeah.
price to
So
pay,
it's
and for me, when you're talking about a human being with such a rare talent and such a rare look and ability to put it out in public too often is the same we used to be when people would do 3 and 4 or 5 movies a year. You get inundated. You're like, all right, I'm tired of seeing
yeah,
this person. Give me another star. Give me this, whatever. But studios only want to get bankable stars to lead their movies. So it ends up being the same 5 or 6 or 7 people for a year or two. Then they recycle and they recycle and recycle, just because they're looking to
Right.
make their nut back from the original investment from the film. It's a tricky business, that's for sure.
Oh, I would appreciate if you didn't say nut. But so we
Nut.
have. I know you haven't seen it. You haven't watched it. But Squid Game
Here we
is now
go,
the
the
most.
Squid Game.
Season 3 is the most streamed product or IP or show ever in the history of Netflix.
Let the game begin.
And basically, it's beating its own record in Bridgerton. Those are like the two big things that have ever been on Netflix. But Squid Game 3, if you haven't watched Squid Game, because I know some people are like, people I work with are like, oh, but it's like a horror movie. No, it's not horror at all. It's more, like how, they're like, oh, it's going to be gruesome. There's some of that, but it's more of what would you do as a human? You're in this thing, and the people that get in there, they're all down on their luck. They all owe people money. They don't know. They think they're going to go win money in a normal competition. And only when they get there do they realize, after the first game starts, oh, they're killing us if we lose.
Seriously?
And so it starts from there and it continues. And they did a really good job with Squid Game season 3. And there's like a pregnant woman in there. And like, so it adds all the stuff. She's about to give birth. And they're in these insane games. Like there's one game where the blue team, that survivors, they get a knife. And then the red team gets, that has to hide. Actually, it's vice versa. They have to hide. So you have 30 minutes to go in this maze. And if you can survive by not being killed or get out, you can get out with these certain keys. You can put them all together. Then you can do that. Or you'd have the dagger, but you had to kill somebody that you've been socializing with in this environment for some time within 30 minutes, or they come around and shoot you. But it's like, what would you want to do? Would you want to have the knife? Would you want to hide? Would you be able to kill somebody? Because if not, you're going to be killed.
Is this
it's just
a
like,
lot like the Hunger Games? Every time people talk about it, I'm like, it's like the Hunger Games, but just a spinoff that is a game show. But like beyond, even Hunger Games was a game show technically. They had viewers and watching, and who would be the last one surviving. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah, this definitely not. But there's no one watching. I mean, there's some wealthy people, like 5 wealthy people that are paying to watch them in
probably
person.
On the Epstein list, I would imagine.
But the thing that's kind of interesting that you might get into it more, maybe you can audition for it. That
Squid Games? I think I'm the wrong complexion, my friend.
No, they're doing an American version.
Oh, well, put me in there with you and in the maze, and me with a knife, and good luck. I hope you make it.
I would go hide in the corner, and then I'd just go ahead and stab you.
Go ahead, you found me. Whatever. They are doing American version though.
So American version. Gosh, I forget the actress. There's an actress that you would definitely recognize. That they've already confirmed. She's in the very last scene of Squid Game.
It's smart for them to make an American version, honestly, because that's the reason why.
I mean, they're going to keep going. It's broken every Netflix record. Every season, they're number 1 in the world. The world.
Well, again, make it an American. They have an American accent. I can get in on that. It's hard for me to watch.
Yeah, I think
it's hard for me to watch foreign films, man. We talked about this, but like if I'm watching something and I know they're dubbing over and it's like bad English or whatever, it just throws me because I know you're acting. And same with reading subtitles. If I'm reading the subtitles, I'm not watching the acting. So both of those kind of trip me up. They remind me I'm watching something versus being immersed in something like an IMAX F1, which you just think you're there. You're watching this live. It just feels different.
That's the best. Dude. Now, I watched it all dubbed over in English, and you can tell there's some corniness. I mean, just because the voice actors are not there. And so, but then my daughter, who's almost 17, she's like, Dad, let's watch season 3, but let's watch it in Korean and read the subtitles. And you do miss a little bit, but the acting is so much. It is better. Yeah. If you're going to watch it, do the subtitles, and you might miss a little subtleties here and there, but it's better than some of the awful voiceovers that you get in
Did you
the English or voiceovers. Plus, the translation is not always the same.
Are you frozen? I think you're frozen.
All right. I think that's our cue to go ahead and end it.